Hi folks, Sandro here with more cartoon news and shenanigans. And if you'd like more cartoon news and shenanigans, then ask you to please subscribe to my channel. In fact, do it right now so you don't forget about it later. And I thank you very much for that, guys. So today, we have a discussion and a bit of a review. And we're going to talk about theories on the South Park post-COVID movie that just dropped on Thanksgiving. So that was the American Thanksgiving, I should say. Here in Canada, we had, what was it, October 12th or something? Thanksgiving was like the second week of October. So we're already past our Thanksgiving. If you guys live in America, happy Thanksgiving to you. And if you live in Canada, I get, happy belated Thanksgiving. I don't know. But yeah, let's get into it. I'm going to be taking. So, by the way, spoilers. That's the first. I need to stop myself. Spoilers. If you have not watched, this is amazing. Okay, this is an amazing movie. Okay, if you haven't watched it yet, get out there. What the hell are you even doing? It's on Paramount Plus, or if you need to sail the high seas, you got to do what you got to do. But it's on Paramount Plus. And it was amazing. I give it a 9 out of 10. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. I don't usually give 9s and 10s very often. I absolutely love this one. I'm just so glad. So if people have asked me time and time again, I run this cartoon news channel. What's your number one favorite cartoon of all time? And it depends on, if you catch me on like a bad day, maybe I'll say Ben 10. Ben 10 and South Park are two of my all-time favorites. Also Futurama. And I do enjoy Avatar: The Last Airbender. Those four series are some of the best I've ever seen in my life. And when I'm talking about Ben 10, I'm not talking about that shitty reboot on Cartoon Network that they've been doing recently. I'm talking about the original Ben 10. So if you guys have never seen it, Ben 10, like it kind of like has multiple series where they go into like Alien Force, and then there's like Ultimate Alien, and then there's like whatever other one, Omniverse, So there's multiple series. Then they kind of just ended the original Ben 10 run. And they went into a new show, which is just like Ben 10, the reboot. I don't like that at all. That reboot is just crap. It's not as good as the original. Let's just put it that way. It doesn't hold a candle. But so South Park, one of my absolute favorite series of all time. Just so good. And I actually do give this a 9 out of 10. It is that good. And it is a movie, so you guys might forget this, but I did a couple articles on this before. Matt Parker and Trey Stone? Yeah, the creators of South Park, right? They signed a deal with Paramount Plus where they're going to make 14 original movies. And this is the first one. The next South Park movie is coming in December. We don't know the date, but it should be in the next couple weeks. So we don't have to wait long. Now, here's the crazy thing. Actually, we don't even know so this leaves on a cliffhanger. Some people suspect that the movie that comes out in December is a troll. Some people said that it might be like a Terrence and Phillip movie. We don't know what that other movie is going to be like. We don't know what it's going to be about. It could be a continuation of this movie. It could be a troll. It could just be a troll. We don't know. People say it might be like I said, could be a Terrence and Phillip movie again. They just focus on Terrence and Phillip, and they don't even show the South Park characters just as like a joke or something. Who else could they make like a? Yeah, Pip. They'll just bring back Pip from the early seasons, or like I don't know. They'll make a Tweek and Craig movie. I don't know. I don't know. I hope they don't do that. I don't want to see a Tweek and Craig movie. But actually, you know what? They could do a Mr. Hanky. Mr. Hanky was kind of written off the show as a joke. Who was it? Rosie? Was it Rosie O'Donnell? Somebody made a joke and said a Hollywood actor looks like a monkey, And I can't remember off the top of my head what the controversy was, but basically, like, Mr. Hanky gets run out of the town. And much like that actress, she said, like, I was like on Ambien or something at the time when she made that post. So, like, Mr. Hanky is saying like a bunch of nasty things, and he's like, I'm just taking some Ambien. So Mr. Hanky, absolutely, I'd love to see whatever happened. Yeah, that'd be a cool movie. Whatever happened to Mr. Hanky? I'd love to see it. Absolutely would love to see it. But yeah, so let's get into this. So I give it a 9 out of 10. That's out of the way. That's out of the way there. And we're gonna talk about the plot. So I already said spoilers. If you don't want to be spoiled, get out of here. Come back later. Let's talk. So things are finally getting back to normal. We immediately go into a time skip. Now, is this Stan's wife? At first I thought this was Stan's wife. No, this is Alexa. So it's kind of like, I don't know how many years in the future. Is it 40 years? I think they said like 40 years past. Wendy, you guys know Wendy from South Park? Yeah, always wearing purple. She mentions that like later on in the plot that one of the characters, Craig, was it? I think it was Craig. Yeah. Craig hasn't been vaccinated in 40 years since the pandemic started. So I'm assuming it's 40 years. Exactly. So one of the funny jokes as I'm looking at this poster here, everything in the future has the word like Max and Plus. It's like Disney Plus, Apple TV, whatever, HBO Max, yeah, et cetera, et cetera. So like all these streaming services have like the Plus and the Max. So everything in the future has the word Plus and Max. So basically, the COVID has been going on for over 40 years, and things still aren't back to normal. In the last pandemic, you guys might remember that the main boys of South Park, they each go their own ways. They have a bit of a falling out. And one of the original pandemic special, is that which one does Randy make love to the pangolin or whatever? So all of the old specials, all of the COVID specials are coming back here. Tegrity Farms, it comes back. A lot of the things that, from the last like season and all the specials about COVID are literally at play. So you do have to watch those to understand what the heck is going on here. So yeah, the boys, Kyle, Eric, Stan, and Kenny, their broship was ruined, and they each went their own ways. So we start off here. We see Stan. He's grown up. He's fat. And I love this time skip. It's so amazing. I love the time skip. It's great. He's huge. He's a bit of a tubbier fellow now. He's smoking. He's drinking. He owns some kind of, what was it, an alcohol business of some kind. And this is Alexa. In the future, now we just see Alexa. I think she opened the door. So one of the things to know, and we're going to talk about this because we do have theories here. There's already theories. Can you believe that? She was able to open the door and lift a remote and do all kinds of things, right? So this is Alexa in the future. Alexa as in like that home one of those like smart home products. You know what I'm talking about? So it's one of those. So it's Alexa, and there she is. So it makes it seem like Stan is married, but no. This is just Amazon's Alexa, and she's like a living hologram because I guess in the future Amazon invents living holograms that can be people. And yeah, there we go. So let's keep jumping ahead here. So Stan, they basically find out this is Kyle. I do like Kyle's older self here. I find it funny that the only one of them that's wearing a hat is Cartman. We'll see Cartman later. But there's Kyle. So Kyle lets Stan know, hey, Kenny died for good. Kenny actually died. So, it's a running joke in South Park that Kenny died. Kenny keeps dying. It's like, they killed Kenny, you bastards. It's a running joke. So it's pretty funny here that they killed Kenny again. But apparently Kenny ended up being the most successful out of all of them, which was pretty wild. Yeah, Kenny ends up being like a doctor or like a professor or something. Or yeah, I think it was a doctor, right? Yeah. So he's like this well-known doctor that's doing all this crazy stuff, and he's like a billionaire, and it's bananas. So Kenny ends up being the most successful, and what's actually really funny is Kenny never gets to talk. They keep the running gag where Kenny just doesn't talk, or he does talk, but he's muffled. He has a mask on, so he's muffled by his own. Yeah, so that was a funny little gag that they had with Kenny, where he just doesn't get to talk without a mask or whatever. They even have an interview. At some point, there's somebody interviewing Kenny, and every time Kenny's about to say something, the interviewer interrupts him. So I thought that was really funny. But yeah, here we go. So they're all older now. They're all it's the future, and here we go. We start seeing actually Moderna Center. This is Jimmy. Oh yeah, Jimmy. I almost forgot about Jimmy. So Jimmy is kind of like a talk show host, like Jimmy Kimmel. So he's one of those, but he's woke. I found this funny. So he's like a woke comedian, but all of his jokes are terrible because, woke people, they don't want to offend anybody. So he just has these terrible jokes like, what do you call I don't know, a woman what do you call woman like in a strip club with no hands or something? And then he'd be like, a very beautiful woman. It'd be like that, right? Like, what do you call a woman in a wheelchair? And it sounds like the punchline, and then she's like, just a beautiful woman. So he's just this woke comedian. I thought this was like one of the funniest things in the whole thing. Absolutely love what they did with Jimmy, but he's not really that important. And then here we go. So Kenny, what do they call him? Dr. McCormick in the future. This is Kenny. I love it. He's kind of, he's got the whole beard here. He's rich. Actually Kenny was never shown to have a wife. So interesting there. But, the whole plot here is that Kenny dies, and it's kind of like a murder mystery. Who the heck killed Kenny? How did he die? And we're going to find out shortly. So here we go. So Stan gets called in for the funeral. There's Alexa. And Eric also gets called. I think I'm just skipping ahead randomly here. But Eric also gets called into the funeral for Kenny. Everybody's all in on the funeral here. So they're driving. There you go. This is what I was talking about. So Denny's, Applebee, Max. So there we go. Everything just has Max and Plus and, all these kinds of like streaming services. So there we go. They meet up at the Denny's here, and, Kyle's talking to him. They're like, there's more to Kenny's death. There's also these people with the tinfoil hats here or whatever the heck. I don't know what they're wearing. I don't know what this is. It's like some kind of giant moon mask, or is it bubble wrap? I couldn't really understand what these people were, but all of the people with these like weird masks or whatever headpieces, all of the people with the headpieces, they always keep talking about the future in a really weird way. Also, I never noticed this on my first watching, but it literally says Strawberry Pie Max. Everything's just a max and a plus. Oh boy. But yeah, so this could come up for the next movie if it's in there. All the people with these weird masks here, they keep talking about the future in a really weird way, like a third person. Like it is the future after all. They keep saying it in a third person kind of weird way. So I'm thinking that all the people who are wearing these weird like helmet things or whatever, they're going to be like maybe a villain to look out for in the next one. I don't know. There's Token Black. So he comes up later, and we're going to talk about, there's a theory about Token. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit. So yeah, Token's there. Again, we're here. All the people with those weird like head shit. I don't know what are they, cones? I don't know what's going on. Here we go. Alexa's just she's very aggressive. Alexa is very aggressive and is not nice to Stan. Very interesting. But there we go. So we see him watching TV. And then he realizes, there's more to Kenny's death after all. Then I think I missed Cartman though. Yeah. So there we go. There's Kyle. Do we get Cartman anywhere here? There's Jimmy at the funeral, and we actually get to see a whole bunch of the adult characters. There's some of the goth kids. Do we get like a better shot here? I don't know. Yeah, there we go. So like, there's some of the goth kids. There's Craig and Tweak, right? And then is that PC Principal or no, Strong Woman? Yeah, that's Strong Woman, right? She's dating like a Mexican guy, I guess. I didn't even notice Strong Woman was in there. There's Stan. There's Kyle. There's a couple. There's some characters here I'm not recognizing. There's the black. There's like one black. There's Token. I can't. They introduced her a couple seasons ago. She's the black character. That was kind of like Token's romance. There's Bebe. I do like older. I think out of all the characters, Bebe has the best design. Oh my god! I never see Nathan and Mimsy. Mimsy. Yeah, I never even noticed they were back there. So we have a whole bunch of different characters being sprinkled in here. Wow. So Strong Woman was in there. Yeah, a whole bunch of different characters. I didn't, and there's the goths again. The goths still look weird. Who's this guy with the splash of green on his face? I don't know. But there we go. Wait, is that is Craig and Tweak? Yeah, and then Clyde. Clyde was the one who doesn't get vaccinated, I think, right? Yeah. So there we go. So Kenny died. There's Wendy. Wendy's with this like weird Donald Trump kind of guy that we've never seen before. Stan, doesn't like that. He never says it out loud, but you can see in his like facial expressions that he doesn't like this guy. Yeah, there's this is Clyde, right? Clyde from South. Let's just pull him up here. Clyde, South Park. Yeah, Clyde is like that little kid. There he is. So this is Clyde, and this is what he grows up into. So there, I do like older Clyde's Hawaiian shirt with the pineapple. Very, very fresh Clyde. So Clyde is actually a huge pinpoint of this plot. He is the only person in all of South Park that is unvaccinated. I like his plot. Oh, me and him kind of have well, it's not really a Hawaiian shirt, but I kind of have a kind of tan gray kind of shirt like him. But yeah, so Clyde actually comes up as a main plot point, which is very interesting. I never thought that they would actually do anything with this character, but wow, they actually did. So there you go. He's just talking. There's Cartman. So here's the let's talk about the theory in a little bit. So Cartman shows up. He's in Jewish attire. He has his old South Park hat, and it's kind of like a yarmulke. He's kind of wearing it like a yarmulke now. He's the only boy out of the four who's wearing his hat. And it turns out that Cartman is actually married. So Kyle immediately says, this is bullshit. This is a ruse. You did not become Jewish. You did not become a rabbi. You're full of shit. Your wife and daughter, they don't believe him until they see his like wife and kids. So he thought, they call him out on it. They're like, you're full of shit. And then his wife appears, and he's hugging her and kissing her and whatever. And so, Kyle here is having none of this shit. He's like, I see through it, Cartman. Knock it off. And yeah, so there's a lot of theory. We see him like in the car here. He has kids. He has 3 kids, which is pretty funny, right? Now, here's where the theory comes in. Here's the theory. People think that Cartman's 3 kids and his wife, so that's 4 in total, are all Alexas. So somehow, now you guys might remember a scene from the old South Park, or an older South Park episode where it was like Cartman, Alexa. So we do know Cartman likes Alexas, right? There was like a scene where he had a whole bunch, like right here. You could see that Cartman has a whole crap ton of Alexas on his desk, I guess. Actually, multiple desks. I was right the first time. There's multiple desks there. He has like a million different like Alexas, and he's like, "Hey Alexa," and like they're all talking to each other, and he's just having a fun time messing with the Alexas. So now, what people think is that because we know Cartman used Alexas in the past, much like how Stan has a hologram wife, people think that Cartman is trolling Kyle. His kids are all fake. They're all just Alexas that somehow Cartman found a way to break Alexa. We see the Alexa that Stan uses, and she is a very aggressive hologram that I don't. It's hard to explain, but like the Alexa that Stan has is just very aggressive and nasty towards him, and it doesn't behave in the way. If these children are Alexas too, Cartman might have broken the Alexa algorithm. Much like how he was messing around with those Alexas I showed you in that Google image. Maybe he found a way to break the Alexa like holograms. And he told them to act Jewish, or somehow he manipulated the Alexas and made them into his children and his wife, just so they could fool Kyle. So that's the theory. That's the main theory going around. Now that is a theory. For all we know, these children could be real, right? So they could be real. We get more McCormick stuff. We actually see here that Alexa opens the door, so she is real. Some people were thinking that she was just a hologram, but she's an augmented reality hologram because she actually can lift the remote and touch things. So she's a touchable hologram. This is important for later because Cartman makes love to his wife, and we actually, we don't really see it, but Cartman touches his kids at least, and we know that the holograms can be touched. So very important stuff there. So it is a leading theory right now that Cartman's entire family are just Alexas that he's trolling Kyle with. Scott Melkinson, the diabetes kid, he actually becomes a priest, and he's a little bit sad that people don't remember him, and then they do remember him. So there we go. He's priesting around here, saying some stuff for the mass, and they kind of have a falling out here, a little bit of falling out. Yeah, interesting. So we do see a strong woman again. Who is this character with the green slime on his head? I don't know who that is. Somebody in the comments, let me know who the heck that is. Also, I think at a certain point, we also see the mayor of South Park. I think she's back there. You can see her teal hair. Yeah, we do see the older version of. Was that at the old age home? Yeah, I think at the old age home we see a whole bunch of the older characters. So we do see. This is where we get more confirmation that Alexa is a hologram and she can be shut off. So this leads to the theory that Cartman's family is just holograms. Here we see Cartman just screwing around again, saying some words, and Kyle's having none of that. So there we see the baby. And maybe Cartman screwed around with the holograms and was able to get them to mimic children. And that's why, maybe that's why Kyle is like, oh my God, these kids are real. And nobody's suspecting that Cartman's family is just all Alexas. I don't know. But also there's Bebe again. There you go. So again, we get these people with the moon-shaped, whatever this is. I don't know what the heck this is. Like some kind of mask? I don't know. But I think these people are going to be important for the next movie. Anyways, so we keep going on. Then they basically interrupt the funeral to basically say that Kenny actually died because of a new strain of COVID. That's what we find out. So Kenny dies of a new strain. There's Zoom. They're making some jokes. So the entire town gets shut down. Stan is unable to leave. Very funny there. So Stan can't leave. Then they're doing cotton swabs. The army shows up. They basically say nobody can leave South Park because one person isn't vaccinated. The person, like I said, is Clyde. Clyde is the unvaccinated. And they do make a good joke about shellfish later on. You're being like shellfish by not getting vaccinated. And that whole thing there. So I thought that was a pretty good. That was pretty funny when PC principal is still the principal of the school. Pretty funny. And then, they make a joke about Mr. Hanky. Mr. Hanky, the Christmas poo, who does not show up. Again, I guess they just wrote him out of the show. I'd like to see Mr. Hanky come back, but no. Also, funny thing here, a lot of people were making jokes. Kyle doesn't wipe his ass after he's done shitting. He just goes and answers the door, and it ends up being Cartman and his wife. And because they were from out of town, and the military is keeping them inside quarantine because Clyde won't get vaccinated. So, of all the people, of course, Eric has to go to Kyle and be like, can we stay here? And it's funny, too, because his kids are like swearing and they're like, Uncle Kyle, can we stay here? Yeah. So look, it's pretty cool. He even has the masks, If these end up being Alexas, this is going to be absolutely hilarious. But there's a chance that they're not Alexas and they're real people. And we have another theory to go over. So there's Wendy and her husband. So here's Token, right? At a certain point, there's another so the theory with Token is that we see Cartman's wife and Token kind of like disappear from the room. And a lot of people think that was an indication that much like I believe Kyle's mom in an earlier season, who's a Jewish mother, right? She ends up sleeping with a black guy in one of the episodes, I'm pretty sure. People are saying there's parallels here, and then that Token and Cartman's wife sneak off for a certain scene, and maybe they go and have sex. We don't know. We're not 100% sure, but that's another theory, that if Cartman's family isn't an Alexa, then if she is real, then maybe she went to go have an affair with Token, because he kind of disappears during a certain scene where those two characters are specifically in different rooms. They're like not shown. So a lot of people had theories that there might be a secret affair here between Cartman's wife and Token. And it could, maybe, now here's the thing, maybe both theories are right. Maybe Token, maybe the affair is real, and Cartman's wife is an Alexa. Maybe Cartman's wife is an Alexa, and Token is sleeping with the hologram. We have literally two different theories merging into a new one. Pretty crazy. So there we go. They basically find out that Clyde is the unvaccinated. There we go. Stan just complaining about Alexa again. And he's very bitter, very negative. Stan didn't grow up to be a very good person. So they're having sex. Again, we know that the holograms can touch people, so this could just be another ruse from Cartman. But, they basically get into a little fight, but then Kyle lets them stay there. There's Clyde. They basically, Wendy actually tried. I don't really like Wendy's design that they went for here. I think I think Bebe looked way better. She looks more like her younger self, but yeah. Anyway, Wendy tries to get Clyde to snort cocaine, but it's actually the vaccine, which was pretty funny. That happens a bit later. So there we go. Yeah, now this is the fun part. So we get Randy and the tie-in with COVID. So basically they have to figure out, Kenny was on the ropes. He was about to figure out, how did COVID all start? Who started COVID? And he basically finds out that it was like Randy and Mickey Mouse making love to that pangolin, or whatever the hell that creature's called. I think it's called a pangolin. We see that Randy apparently hasn't been visited in over 20 years. We also get some backstory that's very disturbing. Stan, the reason Stan is such a depressive and not great adult is they had a bit of a falling out. Shelly wouldn't do her marijuana chores on Integrity Farms, and apparently Stan burned down the house, didn't realize Shelly was in there, and then Sharon ended up taking her own life because Shelly died. So very tragic. So this is a very interesting backstory that they go over here. So there we go. They make up there. And again, we see Token and her in the same, this could be a nice allude that Token and her made love. And there's a secret affair going on between Cartman's wife and Token. So there we go. Now we're back at the old age home. We get a whole bunch. There's Cartman's mom. There, Mr. Garrison is here. Mr. Mackey. Ned actually survived. I think was Ned not shown? I think Ned almost died. They were gonna kill Ned off, and so it turns out Ned is actually still alive. Again, I thought they killed off Ned, but he ended up it turned out at the end of the episode he was just barely alive, and we never really seen him again. So it turns out Ned lived to his wonder years. There's the City Walk guy, or the City Sushi or City Walk. No, Shitty Walk. Shitty. That's yeah. So a whole bunch of the characters, the old black ladies there, Token's mom and dad, I should say. Any other characters I missed? I think yeah. Who else is even in here? I don't remember. Oh, I think I see one of the rednecks. You remember they took our gerbs. One of the rednecks might be in there. There's so many characters. Oh, I think I saw Sheila too. Yeah, that's Kyle's mom right there, Sheila. And that old woman, I think she was in some of the earlier episodes. There's the mayor. Yeah, so there's the mayor. She was older there. A whole bunch of different kids. There's Jimbo, I think. Is that Jimbo? Or no, that's oh my God, the officer, the police officer. Can't remember his name. So he's in there too. Where's Jimbo? Is Jimbo in here? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Is this bald guy back here Jimbo? I don't know. There's Ned, so maybe that is Jimbo. I don't know. Anyway, so we do get most of the characters. Some of the characters that were already old back when they were kids were still alive here. Pretty funny. We do get to see the principal, who's like Mr. Mackey, who's still saying like okay, but he's older now. So here we go. This is where they get like Craig to try almost like snort the vaccine there. There we go. So they call, basically they need information. This is pretty cool. So they need information. They talk to this guy named in an insane asylum. They need to talk to this person named Victor Chaos. Victor Chaos. And we don't really get to see that character till the end. I'll talk about it later. Basically, they end up finding out that the USB drive that they need is up Kenny's asshole. So they go back to Tegrity Farms. I'm just trying to skip ahead here. They go back to Tegrity Farms, and Randy is like, I have the cure to the pandemic. He has a special blend that he made, but when he goes to check, somebody stole. I don't know. Do we see that here? Yeah. I guess it's here, right? Somebody has stolen all of the special cure that he had. He basically had some kind of like special brand of weed that could be like a cure or counteract to the pandemic. But somebody has taken it, and people speculate it was Towley. It was probably Towley. Let's be real. It might not have been Towley. See, the first thing you think of is it was Towley, but it could be someone else. It could have been someone else. We don't know, but very interesting stuff. It might have been Cartman also. Don't forget, it could have been Cartman. There's a weird scene a bit later where we see Shelly and Sharon's ghosts for some reason. I guess some characters just don't die in South Park, but okay. So there we go. We got more of the mom here, Cartman's wife, and they ended up sneaking into the morgue. They check Kenny's butthole for the USB drive, and they end up watching that. This is the scene where they try and get him to do the vaccine so they can get out of here. And yeah, they end up watching this video where Kenny basically invented like some kind of time machine. It was kind of weird here, but I guess this is how he died. It's not exactly 100% clear how he died, but we do get to see like this time travel thing where like all the scientists end up dying. And he basically says the reason the pandemic and everything is so shitty is because of Eric, Cartman, Kyle, and Stan, and he makes them feel bad about it. So that basically he tries and builds a time machine, but everybody dies, and he kind of just like walks off, and we're not exactly sure what the heck happened here, but I'm sure they're going to explain it in the next one. And yeah, so there we go. We get towards the end here. So they, some of the idea here is that they're going to go back in time and fix it, but Cartman is like, no, kids, because if they go back in time and fix it, then Cartman, his children won't exist, assuming they're not Alexas, but they're probably Alexas. Let's be real. So yeah, they're probably Alexas, and they get it done. There's I don't know why Sharon and Shelly are apparently ghosts, but there you go. And then right at the end, he finds the last strain of marijuana weed. So he picks it up out of the ground. And that's basically how. Oh, no. This is what we got to talk about. So, yeah, that's how it would have ended. But we see here. So this is the character they alluded to earlier. Chaos, Victor Chaos. Who is it? Professor K. It's Professor Chaos, who's inspired by Victor Von Doom, who is Butters. Butters is the only character that we don't see out of the main characters. Hold on, let's see here. Butters. There you go. Professor Chaos. Oh, I spelled chaos wrong. But it still came up anyway. Yeah, so this is his alter ego, Professor Chaos. And absolutely, this is an allusion to Butters. People said that if you plug this date in, it gives you the date of one of the episodes, the air date that South Park aired an episode about Butters bringing Professor Chaos to the mix. So that was a pretty cool little thing there, and that's how it ends. So it seems that the next movie, assuming they don't troll us, the next continuation of this storyline is going to feature Butters, time travel. We're going to find out if Eric's family is fake or not. I guess we're going to find out if Token actually is having a secret affair there. There's a couple things to discuss. But yeah, I think this is really, really good. I ended up giving it a 9 out of 10. I can't wait for the next one. I want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. I'm super excited. And it's coming in December, hopefully, assuming it's not a troll. I really hope the continuation to this is the next movie, and I'm really excited for it, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Like the video, share the video, please subscribe, and let me know if I missed any theories or didn't discuss things enough. Let me know in the comment section down below. The end. Bye-bye. Please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000. The end. Peace out.